I think the old guilt trip is easily one of the best tactics used by someone struggling with addiction and alcoholism. If you make the person feel guilty enough, like something somehow has to do with them or it's their fault, then they'll kind of co-sign your actions a little bit. They'll let you drink, they'll let you use because somehow you've convinced them that they have something to deal with it. It's simply not true. My loved one was doing good for a while. They were in recovery. Now, unfortunately, they have relapsed. Once again, what do I do now? So my name is Justin Hallis. I'm the executive director of Hand Up to Victory. It's our nonprofit organization where we help those that struggle with addiction and alcoholism to start their recovery journey. Also, I was a 15-year drug addict, got over 10 years clean and sober now, and I made it my life's mission to help those that struggle with these same issues. Today's a powerful topic. I hear a lot of family members talk about it over and over again. It's, my son, my daughter, whoever it is, man, they were doing great. They had X amount of time sober. They seemed to be really big into recovery. And now, unfortunately, they've gone back out, meaning they've relapsed once again. What do I do now? And so, I was just talking with a buddy of mine, and he's got this exact same experience happening in his family where their son lives with them. And, unfortunately, they, do have cash coming in for their business. And now it seems that the son has relapsed once again. He stole a large amount of money. He took the car. All kinds of crazy stuff is happening. Unfortunately, that happens when we go back out, when we start to use drugs and alcohol once again. And he's calling them saying, man, I don't even know what to do. What do I do now? So you got to know this isn't my fault. Maybe you did something to maybe you were the parent and you didn't give them the best upbringing. I get that, right? But ultimately, there's other people that have gone through a similar scenario and they didn't throw their life away on drugs and alcohol. So it's not your fault. And at the same time, their chaos is not your chaos, right? You gotta get that one too. And this is a hard one. How can I help my loved one? The hardest answer in the world is you can't. There's probably not a whole lot that you yourself are going to be able to do unless you've struggled in this area before. Now, if you have some experience with overcoming addiction, overcoming alcoholism, absolutely, there's a lot that you can pour into their life with. But I could just tell you that they have to have someone who has experienced this same kind of thing in order to help them out. So the first one is the help probably isn't going to come from you. Yeah, so for a lot of people, when it comes as a shock as to why my loved one went back out again, how could this happen? I could say the first thing a loved one needs to realize is this real? Especially if your person you're trying to help is just going into recovery over and over again and they relapse and come back. Like, you got to be ready and prepared for, is this real? Is there a chance that they could go back out and this could all happen again to me? So, definitely being cognizant of that. Some people, if they've messed up time and time again, I recommend, man, you got to see it be 6 months to a year before you know, okay, something's starting to change here. I'm really starting to see, something different. As far as, is it something wrong with their loved one? Man, it took me a lot of relapses in order to get it. It takes some people a lot of relapses in order to finally get it. I can't explain why someone's rock bottom is once or someone else's rock bottom it takes 100 times to get to. Fortunately, I don't have the answer for that. But I do know that enabling them and robbing them of hitting rock bottom is probably the worst thing that a family member could do, right? Sometimes you got to let your loved one hit their face on the ground in order to, maybe that will be their wake-up call to get their attention, to be like, man, I got to take this seriously and put it over everything else in my life. The next thing that I want to use this as encouragement for you, because I know I have a loved one in my family that seems to struggle over and over again. And if anyone comes to me and says, what do I do? They just seem to relapse over and over again. You ready? No is a complete sentence. No is an acceptable answer. Sometimes that person needs to hear no. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you what you're asking for, because typically that person that's struggling with the addiction is just going to keep asking you and asking you, or taking from you and taking from you. And you have to sometimes get to the point where the answer is no. Someone that's struggling with, if I tell them no, and I just say, get out of my house or leave here, then I'm going to feel guilty, because what happens if, God forbid, they were to overdose or something happens to them when they're on the street? And so to that, I say there are other options out there. Most counties do have a detox that will accept people who are really in dire straits, may have to be to the point where they're suicidal to get in there. But, if someone really says they want help, there are other options out there. There's sober living homes. Obviously, this is going nationwide, so each county, each city and state is different. Search recovery homes in my area, or to me, it's at least you're offering another option. So you're not just pushing them out completely. You're giving them something to fall back on. Hey, I'll help you get into this detox, or I'll help you get in this sober living house. And if the loved one just rejects all those options, and I hate to say it this way, but they truly just aren't ready yet. They don't want the help that's being offered. So to me, maybe that'll help out a little bit if you got some other option to offer them, and then you'll kind of know a little more. Are they real? Are they serious about it this time? Will they accept the help that's being offered? You can love on them. You can encourage them. You can say, hey, I'm going to be here for you. If you ever get tired of this, if you truly want to make a change, if there's anything that I can do to get you to a detox, or to help you to get into a sober living house or a program, or if I could take you to some recovery meetings where you can get around other people who struggle in the same area that could possibly help you out, I'm here for you. I'm not saying to turn your back on your loved one, right? No, it's I'm here for you. I'll help you if it's in a way that's going to truly help you. But unfortunately, I don't have any money for you. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to live here. I can't keep giving you everything that you're asking for over and over again. Why? Because ultimately that is helping to enable them, and it's more so helping them to stay where they're at. It's not helping them to move forward with their life. And so I know that's hard for a lot of people out there. How do I look my family member in the face and tell them no? But I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be for their own good. It's going to wind up helping it out. When my mom finally said no, and she said it to me over and over and over again, when she reached her breaking point and she was completely done with it, I knew, oh man, she's finally to the point where she's not going to give me what I want. She's not going to give me what I demand from her. And now I'm in some serious trouble here. Now it's just up to me to figure this thing out, and up to me to do what I need to do to become sober and to move forward. So I feel like there's some people out there that are struggling with this. It's really hard for you to look your loved one in the face and tell them no, but I'm trying to tell you it's okay. No is a complete sentence, and no is an acceptable answer. On your way to helping your loved one, sending them to recovery meetings, trying to get them around some people that are going to be able to help them out, I want you to not fall for this one also, because I used to say this to my mom all the time. I used to feed her the line, well, nobody gets it. Nobody understands what I'm going through. None of these people at the meetings or anywhere else you're dropping me off to understand what I'm going through. They don't understand my addiction and everything that I'm dealing with. I use the old, nobody gets me, Mom. There's no one out there that can help me out at these meetings at all these places, to convince her why I needed to stay with her and continue in all the shenanigans and everything that I was doing. I mean, it's ultimately not true. There's people out there. Now, if maybe you go to a recovery meeting in a very nice part of town, maybe you'll hear some of the stories that don't quite correlate with your story, but I promise you there's someone there that's gone through something similar. I can promise you that at recovery meetings, at detoxes, at programs, people get it. There are people that have the same rock bottom story, that have been through the same, maybe it's even mental illnesses or struggles or childhood traumas, whatever it is. There are people out there who have gone through something similar that caused them to turn to drugs and alcohol too, to try to, to deal with that. But there will be people out there that have gone through the same struggle, and they will be there to help your loved one. I can rest assure you. There are plenty of people out there that get what your loved one is going through. There's plenty of people out there that have struggled in this exact same area, that they have overcome addiction and alcoholism, and they have gone on to live sober and successful lives. And I promise you, anyone who's carrying around, maybe it's a secret struggle. Maybe you just Googled something, or you went on YouTube typing this in, trying to find some help for your loved one. Get them around people who are in recovery at AA meetings, NA meetings. Get them around people at a rehab or a detox. Get them around people who understand, because I promise you, there are people who do. They've walked the exact same road as what your loved one's going through, and they were able to overcome that, and they're going to be able to help them and guide them and give them the tools they need to overcome this and to live a sober and successful life as well. You have to understand that they have to go through this journey on their own. They have to go to a place where the pain of what they're experiencing is finally so much that they're willing to go through that small pain of change to do something different for themselves. They have to want it for themselves. And when they get to that point, that's when true recovery is going to be possible. Guys, we do a lot of topical videos on this channel. We got full-length messages. We got some podcasts coming up. We'd love for you to press the subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video and stay tuned and keep coming back, because we're going to have some more great stuff for you. You got to start seeing yourself the way that God sees you. Freed us from the slavery of addiction. Bless us in so many ways.
Like it talks about in the Bible, that unity that's going to bring people to Christ.
When you pray those prayers from a place of desperation, no matter what is going on in my life, God has this covered.